Scotland tasted defeat last night against Portugal late on once again, and now we're going to see what that defeat tastes like with the fans as we look at the reactions. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Probably know what it's like now losing as a Scotland fan. I mean, is there even any point? You know, we know how it feels. It happens almost every single game now. It's the same reaction. It's the same shitey feeling where you feel sick to your stomach. But you know what? If we never talked about Scotland when they lost, we'd never talk about Scotland at all. So we're going to look at it today. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter if you like the content, and we will be trying to, upload more there regularly as well, and post on Twitter and things like that, and post along with live matches and stuff. Yeah, so follow us on Twitter. It's at fog_footba 49067. We probably should get like a proper username or whatever, but I mean, who cares? Maybe once we get to like 100 followers. How much are we even on? I don't even know. Can we double check that before we look at everybody's comments here? I don't know. Can't be bothered. No, I guess not then, right? But anyway, help us get to 100. Start hitting that follow button. Right, let's get into it then. Scotland. Full time, Portugal 2, Scotland 1. The referee brings an end to tonight's contest in Lisbon. Could he not have brought an end to it 10 minutes early? Same with Poland. Could he not have brought an end to it 10 minutes? I mean, there was two decent performances. I'm not saying we looked world class or anything like that, but against a good side in Portugal and a decent side in Poland, we held our own, and I think we deserved the results. Especially against Portugal. Yeah, we had our arses. John McGinn's back, a big arse, backed up against the goal. It was kind of a back to the walls performance, but that's what you need to do when you're taking on Portugal. You're not going to be even in possession. You're not going to be going, 50-50. You're not going to be going tooth and nail. You have to play smart when you're taking on the best teams in the world. And I thought we did that, and I thought we played well as a team, but again, individual errors seemed to screw us. And when you're Scotland, you can't afford individual errors. We're not good enough against the top teams to be making 2 or 3 individual errors that are going to cost you even one's too many. For us to get results against the top teams, we need to be pretty much perfect when it comes to a defensive standpoint, right? We need to make sure that we do everything right. And if like a Portugal or a Spain, if they're going to break us down, then they have to do something good, okay? They have to be at their best. They have to do something that's world class in order to get a goal past us. We can't go into these games literally gifting them goals because we're not good enough for that. So yeah, it was disappointing, but anyway, let's just get into the comments here. I mean, I've already spoken about the game. Actually kind of depressing me, to be honest. I don't know. When was the last time one of my teams won? Couldn't fucking tell you, actually. It's actually, wait. I don't think one of my teams have won since May, beginning of May. What the fuck is this? What's happening? I don't know. Anyway, thoughts on Angus Gunn, by the way. I don't think he should be Scotland number 1. I mean, yes, he makes some good saves, not denying that, but he's got so many mistakes in him. Honestly, man, I do think that we should look at a new number 1, and I'm not saying it has to be Craig Gordon, even though I do think he'd be the best candidate, and I think he would deserve, one last shot in the team. Even at this case, I mean, if it's Sander Clarke, if it's Liam Kelly, I mean, I don't really care. I just don't think it should be Angus Gunn. I think he's got way too many mistakes in him, but anyway, here we go. Everything's Celtic. The best group of players in a lot of our supporters' lifetime, and I thank Clarke for his efforts, but 1 in 14 is pathetic. We've failed to beat Northern Ireland at home, Finland at home, Norway at home, Poland at home, Georgia away, Hungary in a neutral location, Switzerland in a neutral location. Only win is 2-0 against Gibraltar. I mean, when you look at it like that, well, honestly, when you lay it out, it's hard to make a case for Steve Clarke still being in a job. And if he didn't qualify us for 2 back-to-back Euros, I've no doubt in my mind he wouldn't be here right now. I think even if he only got us to the 2020 Euros, I don't think he'd be in a job right now. I think it's the fact that he's did 2 Euros back-to-back, and that's bought him a little bit of time, and I understand that, and I almost think he deserves that time, but at the same time, it's easier now to qualify for a Euros than it ever was before. With the expanded Euros to 24 teams, if you finish top 2 and you're qualifying, you're guaranteed a spot. If you finish 3rd, then you get a playoff, and even if you're not successful with that, you can sneak in through the Nations League. So it's almost getting to the point now where if you're a decent team, then it's almost like harder not to qualify than it is to qualify. And I'm not trying to take anything away from his achievements, but it kind of is. I mean, look at the top 24. Look at the top 24 nations, all right? Just in UEFA. Look at the European nations. Look at the top 24. Once you start getting outside the top 24, it is, you're beginning to go from like average teams into mediocre teams. So I think it's normal. Honestly, I think it's normal for Scotland to be qualifying for Euros now. I think we should be qualifying for Euros, and I think it would be disappointing if we're not, honestly, man. Going forward, I think we should be at every single Euros. World Cup, obviously, harder to qualify, and I want to start getting to World Cups, and if we can start getting to the odd one, then great. Even if we could get to one World Cup, then miss a World Cup, then get to a World Cup and miss a World Cup, even if we could have something like that, I'd be happy with that, I'd take that. But in terms of the Euros, I think it should be every single time now, because it's easier than ever to qualify. I mean, there used to be a time where I actually thought maybe qualifying for the Euros was a little bit more difficult than the World Cup, or at least the same, but now it's like it's way too easy. So yeah, Ridfan Loyal says that's what happens when you play inept footballers like Anthony Ralston. But you know what, man, I actually feel like Anthony Ralston's been not... If you take away the mistakes, right? See, if you take away the other night there with the penalty and then the mistake against Switzerland, if you take them away, does Anthony Ralston really stand out over like the last couple of games and the Euro games? Does Anthony Ralston really look like it? Does he stand out like a sore thumb? You know, does he look like he's a level below everyone else? In my opinion, no. But he's made two crucial mistakes, and those crucial mistakes have cost us in both games. So he needs to stop them. Now, is it maybe if he was playing regularly, would Anthony Ralston be less likely to make mistakes if he was playing regular football? Would Anthony Ralston be a better player? Would he be a better fit for Scotland if he wasn't at Celtic? If he even got loaned out or something for this season? If he was playing regular football at a different club in the Scottish Premiership, like a mid-table team, would he improve as a player? Maybe that's what he needs to do, because I know he does have a lot of mistakes in him, and sometimes that's just not playing, constant football that causes that. Logan says scoreline is very, very kind to us. I mean, not really. Yeah, Gunn made a few good saves, but you know what? We could have scored more than one as well. So let's be honest. Plus, we're against Portugal. What we expecting? We're always going to be facing shots and shit like that. It just makes sense. Polly Walnut says fuck off, Stevie. Does he mean Big Stevie Cool or Big Stevie Clarke? Lee Sunis says, bye-bye Stevie Clarke. The Scotch are a joke. The jocks must be furious. I don't know, man. Imagine being a Rangers fan and supporting Britain and England over Scotland. Dymore, England finally kicked Scotland out of Britain. Mate, good for you. Fuck. Salmon's Pizzeria started so well, defensively solid. Gunn was magnificent for most of the part, but he has to save the equaliser. Clarke, stay or go now? I'm going to say it deserves more time. Oh, I'm in the minority there, 27.3%. Only want him to stay. We've got a cutting machine here, which looks pretty cool. I wonder how much that is. I might invest in one of them, but I don't do any DIY, so probably no fucking point. Clarke, thanks for the memories, but it's time to say goodbye. Leave the memories alone. I don't know. Should we leave Clarke alone, or is it time to go? I mean, it could be time to go. Las Palmas. I think that's them congratulating Scott McKenna for playing 90 minutes, but honestly, couldn't tell you. Citizen Adamu, good game, lads. Looked great out there. Beating Portugal at home is super hard. You gave it a pretty good goal. Almost made it. Yeah, I mean, don't know if we almost made it, but we almost got a draw. Nebul says, we have a couple of really positive players like Gilmore and McTominay, but there are quite a lot of players who pass the ball back merchants. There has to be a purpose to playing games that isn't just about the containment. Scotland national team needs a change in mindset. And with that change in mindset, that would probably mean a change in management, and that would probably mean that Steve Clarke has to go. Look at this, got another British guy here crying. Let's see. Get well soon, Stevie Clarke. I tell you what, man, the off license must take a beating. They must do like record sales every time Scotland are playing. They must have to like double down. They have to get extra staff on that night because they know that Stevie Clarke's coming in and he's going to be on a rampage. He's going to be heading straight for that fucking whiskey. I mean, you just know it. You can see here a run of results that we had. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90 equaliser. So, I mean, yeah, we concede late goals. I get it. AIV, can't believe there's some folk greeting because we lost narrowly to Portugal. I mean, it's not really the fact we lost narrowly to Portugal, it's the fact that our form's been so shit. Had we played Portugal and we weren't on this awful run and we lost 2-1, people would be praising that. People would be, happy that we gave them a game and, we showed that we can compete and all this stuff. But when your form is so poor, then you cannot help but get upset about another defeat, man. It really is that simple. Joe Watt Anderson says, if we weren't so negative after we scored, we would have won that. We look so much better when we play positive football. I mean, I get the point, but at the end of the day, look how early we scored, man. How can you determine that we would have won that based on the way we're playing, Or if we didn't get negative after we scored, well, we scored pretty much straight away, so it's, I don't know, it's hard to say that. Ross Clarke, San Marino have more wins in the last year than we do. I mean, fair play to San Marino, big shout out to San Marino. I always enjoy seeing San Marino get a result. I think I've only seen like 2 in my lifetime, but still, it's nice to see. Not Matondo prop. Gunn made good saves, but we should be coming away from tonight with a point because he has to be saving Bruno's shot. I mean, he has to. It is poor. And then people will say he made up for it, and that's all fine and well, but if he never allows that shot in the first place, then it's still 1-0, and who knows how the game plays out, Who knows if we go on to win it or not. So, yeah, it's very disappointing there that he couldn't do better. Got some nice looking food there getting cooked, and I might have to invest in one of these. That looks decent, to be fair. That doesn't look good. You need to get that shit cleaned up. But yeah, overall, that chicken, man, it looks pretty tasty. Adam, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri race wins. Say San Marino has more wins than us this international break. It's sad, but I mean, that's what it is. Paul Clarkson says talented team being held back by a boring coward of a manager. Kev Mack says Clarke out, Gun dropped. AUFC Enjoyer says leave Clarke in Portugal. Not a bad shout there, leave him in Portugal. And I think that's where we're going to end it, guys. It's just depression, really, isn't it? There's no point going over it. I mean, what's the point? We know what happened. We know everyone's feeling upset. We know everybody wants Clarke out. And now we just have to wait. We have to wait to the next international break. Double header against Portugal and Croatia. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. I feel like we can get results in both games though. If we perform to our best, then who's to say that we can't, get positive results? What do we need in terms of points? Well, I think the bare minimum we need is a single point. If you offered me 2 draws, I'd probably take that. If we could get a win against one of them, then a defeat, that would be ideal. Anything more than 3 points, and then we're right back in this group. But I think as long as we get a point on the board, and as long as Poland don't win in their 2 games during that break, then we can play ourselves back into this with potentially beating Poland in the final game and not getting relegated. But we need to get something, whether it be against Croatia, whether it be against Portugal. We do need to get a point on the board and hope that Poland do not. So I think that's the aim. Next international break, just outscore Poland. Doesn't matter how many points they get, how many points we get, but they're currently 3 ahead of us. We need to outscore them. Simple as. Anyway, that's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Bean Fog Football. Thanks for watching, and peace.